Hey, what's up guys? It's Tech Summer talking to you here, and today I want to talk about more of the Mac Studio because for the last few days there's been a lot of confusion and talks that the Mac Studio could replace the iMac Pro line, and just not the iMac Pro but also the 27-inch iMac, which I have the 21.5-inch Intel iMac from 2017, and I love that computer. It's an all-in-one, it's an amazing all-in-one actually, and it's very good. So there's been a lot of talks about the Mac Studio replacing the iMac Pro, and I've been thinking about this subject a lot. I've been using my M1 Max MacBook Pro, and I've been thinking what people would benefit of having an iMac. And then I thought, what would benefit and who's the one to get benefited by the fact that the iMac Pro is killed, and even the 27-inch iMac, the bigger sized iMac, is killed? Well, and I think I got into an answer that I will answer after we roll the intro, but I think that it's pretty obvious if you actually think about it. So no further ado, and before we get started, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm very happy. Thank you all for your support. But no further ado, roll the intro. So, like I was saying at the beginning of this video, I do think that the one who's the most be benefited by this killing of the iMac Pro and the 27-inch iMac is not us, the consumers. It's not the future of the market, it's Apple. The reason is just because if they kill the all-in-one $25 to $2,000 27-inch iMac Pro or even iMac, then, well, they just can charge you way more for the Mac Studio. Because at the beginning, if you look at it, oh, the Mac Studio starts at $2,000, but it doesn't. It doesn't come with a mouse, it doesn't come with a keyboard, it doesn't come with a display. So you just simply have to put Apple Silicon on a very big thermal design and with some I/O. And that's what Apple has done with the Mac Studio. Surprisingly, and it wouldn't surprise me, I don't think that Apple has that much costs when building the basic Mac Studio, just because, yes, it's cheap. They already developed the M1 Max. They have been putting the M1 Max in a ton of MacBook Pros now, and they have probably make the process dirt cheap to build. So yes, I do think the M1 Max is not as expensive as we think, and so they must have at least thick profit margins on that computer. The M1 Ultra is a very different story because they have to charge a lot for that Ultra Fusion layer, and probably that's a very expensive chip to build, just because it's double the price. But in my opinion, an M1 Pro and M1 Max iMac would be just an amazing deal. Imagine a 5K, even a 5K LCD panel, the same one as the Studio Display. That would be just insanely good. Amazing. With Apple Silicon, you wouldn't buy anything else. And it also comes with a mouse and a keyboard. Imagine how good a deal that would be. I think we were spoiled while we were getting, even the 21.5-inch iMac was amazing. Now Apple has refreshed with the 24-inch M1 iMac, and that's an amazing deal if you think about it. $1,500 for a keyboard, an amazing mouse, an amazing keyboard with Touch ID, an amazing display, which is 24 inches, not 27 inches, but it's amazing. A very colorful design, fun design, the M1 chip, which is very powerful. For almost 90% of consumers is enough. So yes, that's an amazing deal. And now, if you think about it, the iMac Pro would be the best deal for pros because you would get the perfect display for you to edit your photos, your videos, a Studio Display-like display. You would get very powerful performance with the M1 Max or even the M1 Ultra. You would get your keyboard and mouse for free with Touch ID. You would get the best speakers in the game. Because imagine, if you do like the Studio Display speakers, and a lot of reviewers are saying they are the best speakers ever on the Mac, then those would be the same speakers to come on the iMac Pro, in my opinion. And imagine those speakers, that webcam, that performance of the M1 Ultra from the Mac Studio. Imagine putting the Mac Studio with the Studio Display together and fusing them into a very powerful computer. That would be just insane. And that starting for about $2,500, that would be just incredible deal. And probably Apple right now does not have the capacity to build that many displays and that many M1 Ultras to cover that demand. So yes, I do think Apple will be delaying the iMac Pro, not killing it, because it doesn't make that much sense. There's a gap now on the market, the 27-inch all-in-one size that Apple used to sell, and they've killed the 27-inch Intel machine. I do agree with Rene Ritchie on this one. I do think Apple is waiting on the sideline to see if the Mac Studio sells amazingly well, then they just benefit from killing the 27-inch iMac because they can make even more money selling you two separate parts. But if the Mac Studio doesn't do that well in terms of the numbers of the 27-inch iMac, then you can expect a refresh. First one with the M1 Pro and M1 Max for a regular sized 27-inch iMac. If that's coming, I'm not sure, because I mean, Apple has done 24-inch, and now I think they are selling in the fact that 24 inches will be the regular iMac for everyone. You don't need a bigger iMac than that, but if you want to, you will have to go for the iMac Pro. Then if Apple releases the iMac Pro, it will be a very different story. I think you want to imagine the studio display. Just imagine the studio display with a computer behind it. So that's it. I do think that the studio display is an amazing deal, but at $1,500, I don't think where Apple can price, for example, if they put the computer behind it with the iMac Pro, they will put probably an M1 Max and M1 Ultra. If they put the M1 Max, then it will probably start at $2,500, and M1 Ultra $45,000 to $5,000. So yes, I think that's a pretty good ladder of prices, and if Apple does that, it will be probably in 2 years. According to Mark Gurman, they are thinking of doing it in 2023. Let's see if they do it, at least with the M2 Ultra or the M2 Max. Let's see if they do it. And yes, I'm very, very excited. I don't want Apple to kill the iMac lineup. I love the iMac. I've been using the iMac for 6 years now, and I'm very, very happy with it. Of course, if you think about it, the iMac was a very, very good deal. If Apple released it together with the Mac Studio, no one would buy the Mac Studio, just because they would add up the counts on their heads and would say, oh yeah, the math is not right. I spent $1,500 or $1,600 on a studio display. I spent $2,000 to $3,000, $4,000 on my Mac Studio. Couple it together, plus the keyboard, plus the mouse, well, it's more expensive than the iMac, and then almost everyone would go for the iMac. That's my opinion, and that's why I think Apple did not release an iMac Pro. Now, they might announce it in WWDC together with the current Mac Pro, but I don't believe it. Apple said it in this clip that
just one more product to go, Mac Pro. But that is for another day.
And so, as you know, as they said that the Mac Pro will be the last computer to transition, I do think that they won't release the iMac, or at least announce an iMac Pro during this transition, which ends in June. I do think that next year we will probably get an iMac Pro. Yes, next year is a probable timeline, next year on 2024. Let's see what happens, at least when Apple starts the refresh timeline for their Apple Silicon on the Mac. I think that's pretty exciting, and I think that's the thing if you are looking out for. Of course, that's 2 years away maximum, or at least 1 year away. And I don't think if you really need a computer now, you should wait. Buy the studio display, buy the Mac Studio. Or if you have an external display, just buy the Mac Studio and buy, I don't know, a cheap display. If you have one, don't buy it, use your old cheap display. But if you need one, just get a cheap display from Amazon, get the Mac Studio. That's a very amazing deal. If not, I have a video recommending between the MacBook Pro, the 16-inch with the M1 Max, against my M1 Ultra Mac Studio. I don't have one, sorry. But I have a video comparing the M1 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch against the M1 Ultra Mac Studio and telling you which is the better deal and which one is for you if you have different needs. So yes, go check it out, those videos. I have two actually, but the latest one is the more up-to-date. Of course, this iMac Pro, if it comes, it will be a little bit more expensive than you are thinking, just because of mini LED. Let's see if it comes with promotion. I do want it to come with promotion, 120 Hz mini LED display, 5K, 27 inches. Imagine, that would be the best display in the world, even better than the Pro Display XDR. But that's why I'm not confident that it will come out this year, just because Apple wouldn't kill the Pro Display XDR like that. So yes, I'm very, very excited for this iMac Pro to come in the future. I don't think Apple has killed it, so let's pray together that Apple revives this amazing, amazing computer. But also, I'm excited to see what Apple does with the Mac Pro in June on WWDC. As they said, it will be the last Mac to transition, and I want to see how they can improve on this beastly computer that is the Mac Pro, but also beastly expensive. So let's see if Apple can pick up this computer, make it the fastest computer on earth without any budget, completely, without thinking about efficiency, when I say efficiency, without thinking about any power draw, without thinking about anything. Infinite power for Apple Silicon. So let's see what Apple can do with their Silicon when they have infinite power. But that's it. I think that the Mac Studio won't kill the iMac in the future. I think Apple will realize that the iMac, it's very, very important, that there are a lot of people that can appreciate having a 27-inch all-in-one device. I don't think that the Mac Studio has the capabilities or will sell well enough in even the iMac Pro. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I will really appreciate if you do. Thanks for your support. And also follow my Twitter down below. I have a link there. I would like you to follow. We are very, very slowly growing on Twitter. I don't know why. We have 460 subscribers on my main channel, and we have two followers on Twitter. So go check out my Twitter account. I post some interesting stuff out there. And if you want to watch it, go and give it a follow. But that was it. This was Tex talking to you here. Bye.